I ain't finna talk to him, just pass the blower. I don't buddy up on hits, I do it solo. What's up, black people? Welcome to another unlawful arrest prevention video. On this channel, we analyze crowdsourced videos of traffic stops and arrests in order to educate citizens on the tactics and tricks that cops most often use to execute the unlawful arrest of a black person. By understanding their strategies, we can develop our own, which allows us to punish them financially later on by bringing civil rights lawsuits and winning large payouts.
If you find yourself the victim of police misconduct, it is important that you bring a lawsuit no matter what and do not hesitate. The most important decision you make will be the lawyer that you hire. To prevent black people from getting ripped off by sham lawyers, we have compiled a list of the best civil rights attorneys in every state. If you need help finding a civil rights attorney, simply go to unlawfularrestprevention.org, scroll down to our National Civil Rights Attorney database, and then click on your state. We keep this list updated in real time as we vet more attorneys.
In each episode of How Rappers Get So Unlucky, we cover a different example of how law enforcement agencies use a device called a Stingray or a Hailstorm machine to secretly eavesdrop on the calls and texts of a rapper they are looking to unlawfully arrest. In episode 1, we discussed the situation in which the ATF and the FBI used the Stingray or Hailstorm machine to eavesdrop on Offset, simply because they wanted to arrest and ID his bodyguard. By conducting unconstitutional electronic surveillance, the ATF and FBI knew what kind of car Offset was driving, when his bodyguard would be in the vehicle with him, and that his bodyguard was armed. In short, the ATF gave this information to local police in Atlanta and instructed them to pull Offset over as soon as they could, search his vehicle, and use the bodyguard's lawfully owned guns as a reason to arrest both men. One thing we hope to prove to black people who watch this series is that Stingray and Hailstorm use is extremely widespread, despite the fact that the public has little knowledge about these machines or their capabilities.
These machines make it extremely easy for the feds to target rappers. For example, if a rapper has a felony, all the cops have to do is monitor his texts and calls via Stingray, wait until they know he is driving in a car with someone who is armed or may have drugs on them. Then the police can send a squad car to pull the rapper over for some made-up violation, come up with probable cause to search the car knowing there is already a gun or drugs inside it, arrest the rapper, and then try to stack as many charges as possible on him.
In today's video, we will look at a situation in which it's extremely likely that the LAPD used a Stingray or Hailstorm to manufacture the arrest of the late great Drakeo The Ruler. Though Drakeo The Ruler has passed away, his career still serves as an example of the extreme measures law enforcement will take to target and arrest popular rappers or other high-profile black celebrities who haven't even committed a crime. The police target rappers because anytime they arrest a high-profile black celebrity, they are able to garner media attention and make it look like they actually do real work with all the tax dollars they're given. In reality, cops do little or no real police work. The vast majority of cops spend the vast majority of their careers harassing innocent black people and arresting non-criminals. It's extremely easy to target rappers with a Stingray or Hailstorm because these devices give the police vast, unconstitutional surveillance power.
We cover how these machines work in more depth in episode 1. But summarized briefly, Stingrays and Hailstorms allow police to listen to the calls and read the texts of any and all individuals within a given area, instantly get your identity and location, take control of your phone remotely, redirect your outgoing or incoming calls and texts, force calls to drop or degrade your cell service, reroute your communications directly to 911. Cops don't usually take it this far because they're forced to protect the secrecy of these devices. This is accomplished through extremely strict NDAs that police departments are required to sign with the manufacturer, the Harris Corporation, as well as the FBI before each purchase. Law enforcement agencies must promise to notify the FBI immediately if there is ever even a slight risk they will be exposed for using this technology, so that the FBI can do whatever it deems necessary to prevent information about Stingrays and Hailstorms from being released to the public. However, if the cops want to target a rapper, they will monitor his texts and calls as well as the communications of everyone in proximity to him.
On August 22, 2021, Drakeo The Ruler was riding in the back of an Uber with his son, only a toddler at the time, when an LAPD officer pulled the Uber over. The reason for the traffic stop will sound familiar: a window tint violation. Having tints that are too dark is the go-to made-up excuse used by opportunistic police officers when they pull black people over with the singular intention of finding any reason to arrest them. What is odd, as you will see, is that the arresting officer immediately walks up to the passenger side and begins speaking to Drakeo through the backseat window, as if it were his car and he were the Uber driver. The cops seem to forget entirely about the Uber driver himself, who who is the one being pulled over for the tint violation.
Draco becomes understandably confused and frustrated because, as we all know, cops don't question an Uber's passenger if the Uber driver is pulled over for a tint violation. The cops then force Draco to step out of the car and search him. The police claim to find a gun on him, arrest him for being a felon in possession of a firearm, and then take him to jail. It's extremely likely that the police used a Stingray or a Hailstorm to monitor Drakeo the Ruler. Only by using a Stingray to eavesdrop on Draco's communications as well as pin his location and monitor his app usage could the LAPD have known he was in an Uber to begin with, as well as his exact location and the fact that he was allegedly armed at that given moment. In the end, Drakeo was arrested and charged with being a felon in possession of a firearm. He was later released on $35,000 bail.
The DA's office in LA had been looking for a reason to arrest Drakeo. The Los Angeles D.A. had been attempting to refile gang conspiracy charges against Drakeo for a crime he already served time for after taking a plea deal some years earlier. It's likely that law enforcement agencies all over LA were monitoring Drakeo via Stingray on behalf of the LA DA's office. The hateful Los Angeles DA's office and certain elements in the LAPD felt Drakeo had gotten away with murder and certainly despised him. They had tried and failed to lock him away for life, and felt his very freedom to be a stain on their records. By unconstitutionally spying on Drakeo, they could easily manufacture his arrest and use the new gun charges as leverage against him.
One way to protect your phone from Stingray or Hailstorm surveillance is with a Faraday cage. A Faraday cage is any kind of bag lined with a special metallic fabric that blocks all electromagnetic signals. If placed in a Faraday bag, your phone will not ping any cell towers or receive any calls, texts, or emails, etc. In short, while your phone is inside the bag, it is as if the phone never existed. But once you take it out of the bag, it works normally. That means that while inside the bag, no signal will leave or reach your phone, preventing law enforcement from tracking your location or using a Hailstorm to gain access to your communications. UAP manufactures and sells its own Faraday bag called the 4Cage on Amazon. Our goal is to make an effective Faraday bag for as cheap as possible. If used regularly, we recommend testing them out each month by placing a phone inside it and seeing if it can receive calls or texts. You should replace them as needed, usually every 3 to 4 months or so in order to be extra safe, as repeated and heavy use of the bags can erode the metallic signal-blocking fabric over time. The 4Cage, however, is but one of several effective Faraday bag brands out there.
As always, before we get into the video, we have 3 disclaimers.
1. I am not an attorney. Please contact an attorney if you have an urgent legal matter. If you need help finding an attorney in your area, please submit a claim through unlawafularrestprevention.org and we will do our best to help you find representation. Or simply visit our National Civil Rights Lawyer database. 2. Unlawful arrest prevention and any videos associated with it are not for the criminally minded and are intended to help ensure legal recourse for citizens who become the victims of a civil rights violation. 3. Never, under any circumstances, tell a police officer that you are going to sue him during the course of a traffic stop or arrest.
You're getting detained for 148, delaying my investigation.
What is your investigation?
I already told y'all 10 windows. I don't have an ID. And I need to identify you. He gave me his ID. You're not giving me your ID.
Mind you, you're not even supposed to be talking. Exactly, I got my seatbelt on because I'm with my son.
I know, but I'm asking you to, I'm back in the car. But now, I want you to put the phone down and put your hands up here.
I'm on live.
What's going
What
on.
are you talking about? I'm on live.
Okay, I don't care about being on live. I'm on live too.
All
See
right.
this? LAPD got me on live too.
I'm taking my seatbelt.
You can pick the phone down. If you want to point the phone at me, that's fine.
All right.
I'm cool with that.
All right.
Before we let the video play out, let's make sure we understand exactly what the cop does here. If it sounds illegal and very stupid, that's because it is.
Unbeknownst to Drakeo, the officer has likely been given orders to find a reason to arrest him. So the cop pulls over the Uber for a fake tint violation and asks the driver for ID. He then asks Drakeo for ID, who calmly explains that he's a passenger, that this is his Uber, and that he doesn't need to show ID. The cop then tells Drakeo he is being detained for a code 148, delaying an investigation. Drakeo asks what investigation, and the officer replies that his investigation is for the tint violation.
When Drakeo reiterates that he is just a passenger in an Uber, the officer then tells Drakeo, "Now I don't know what's going on," before asking Drakeo to step out of the car. When he sees that Drakeo's on IG Live, the cop, referring to his body camera, says LAPD got me on live too, in a challenging and threatening tone. If a cop ever says something like this to you, it should signal that he isn't right and is looking to provoke a confrontation so he can do bodily harm to you or bring additional charges. At this point, all Drakeo should have said is,
Are you demanding to see my ID under threat of arrest? If I refuse to show my ID, will you arrest me?
And then in response to anything after that,
I do not consent to a search of my person. I do not feel comfortable answering any more questions without a lawyer present.
formulaic responses like these may deter a cop who did not fully think through his targeted unlawful arrest beforehand. To meet recruitment needs, police departments in most American cities have lowered their hiring standards, especially when it comes to their thresholds for intelligence, such as reading proficiency and mental stability. Many cops are cognitively impaired to the point of medical diagnosis and/or severely psychologically unstable. They were this way before they became cops. In fact, it may be why they became cops.
I'll play that back one more time before we get into the rest of the video.
You're getting detained for 148, delaying my investigation.
What is your investigation?
I already told y'all, 10 windows. I don't have an ID, and I need to identify you. He gave me his ID. You're not giving me your ID.
Mind you,
you
you're
still
not
got
even
your
supposed to be
seatbelt
talking.
on.
Exactly, I got my seatbelt on because I'm with my son.
I know, but I'm asking you to, I'm back in the car. But now, I want you to put the phone down and put your hands up here.
I'm on live.
What's going
what
on.
are you talking about? I'm on live.
Okay, I don't care about being on live. I'm on live too.
All
See
right.
this? LAPD got me on live too.
I'll take my seatbelt.
You can pick the phone down. If you want to point the phone at me, that's fine.
All right.
I'm cool with that.
All right.
The LAPD had a history of harassing and targeting Drakeo The Ruler, and so it's likely that they were monitoring him via Stingray or Hailstorm on a consistent basis. That means that whether in his own vehicle or an Uber, they had real-time access to his location and communications. The arresting officer was clearly instructed by a superior to make up a reason to detain and search Drakeo. When police are angling to arrest an innocent citizen, their go-to strategy is to pull them over for a tint violation and then find a way to search the car or their person with an ultimate goal of stacking as many charges on the victim as possible. If they don't find anything illegal, they may plant evidence or act unreasonably so as to elicit an angry response from their victim, which they can then spin as threatening behavior.
I don't know what's going on right now, bro. This is crazy. I jumped in the Uber, bro, to pick up my son, bro. Literally.
5 out of 1. Have all units respond.
My son is in the car, bro. This is crazy, bro.
Approaching 251.
This is. Got my son with me in the car, bro. This is crazy, bro.
Yes, responding to the harbor backup. Respond northbound. Petroleum approaching 251.
This is crazy, bro. So do you still make it out the car? What's going on? This is crazy, bro. This is weird as fuck, bro. They got me with my son.
I'm asking you not to go in your pockets.
I'm putting my phone in my pocket, bro.
I know, but I don't want you to go in your pockets.
What are y'all on, bro?
I'm not on anything. I'm not yelling or screaming or nothing.
Like, you asked the Uber driver, bro.
Like, his ID, and I asked you for your ID.
What the
and you
fuck
told
is
me you
going
didn't have ID.
on right now, bro?
And then when I asked for a backup, you wanted to give me your ID. And then I asked you to step out of the car. You told me no.
I didn't tell you. No, I said, what am I stepping out the car for?
Because we have the right to pull you out of the car. You didn't have an ID. At first, you didn't have an ID.
Because I just noticed it was behind my shit.
At first, you allegedly didn't have an ID. So I want to identify you.
This shit is crazy, bro. This shit is crazy. What the fuck is going on?
So I'm telling you right now, you're the one who's escalating this, and you're the one who's stating you have your kid in the car. I didn't want to do this in front of
bro,
your kid.
but you seen it. You was
I
behind me,
can
bro.
still pull you over, your kid in the car or not.
What this nigga's talking about, bro?
This situation should be a forceful reminder to all black people as to why we need to encourage and help each other to file civil lawsuits each and every time one of us is the victim of police misconduct. Because most people do not bring lawsuits when the police violate their rights, most cops believe, and believe correctly, that they will get away with harassing innocent black people. The cop is violating Drakeo's rights callously and casually, with no regard for the fact that he is manufacturing the arrest of an innocent man in front of his toddler-age son.
However, the carelessness that cops exhibit when harassing black victims is a result of their ability to do so unchallenged and with impunity for generations. And it can be used against them in civil court to win large payouts if we utilize tools like hidden cameras, have prepared responses to police questioning, and consistently bring civil lawsuits against them. As you can see in this situation, the false explanations given by crooked police officers often crumble even under the slightest bit of scrutiny.
It would have been easier for Draco's lawyer to get any criminal charges dropped in order to bring a civil lawsuit afterwards if Draco had simply repeated the phrases, "I will only show my ID under threat of arrest. Are you going to arrest me if I don't show you my ID?" If the cops continued to ask for ID, Draco should have given it to them, but then remembered to repeat the phrases, "I do not consent to a search of my person," and "I do not feel comfortable answering any questions without my lawyer present." If what you're saying isn't one of those phrases or something very similar, it's best to remain completely silent and not speak at all.
What the fuck is going on?
So
this
is where we're gonna be at right now. My supervisor here. I'm gonna tell you, my supervisor here, and then we got a couple more units in here. We're gonna ask you one more time to step out, and if you say no, then we're gonna do what we gotta do to get you out.
It's crazy,
and then I'm
bro.
gonna take you out, and then I'm gonna take you to jail.
What the fuck is going on, bro?
The officer tells Draco that he has the right to pull him out of the car. That is not correct, but in this situation the cop doesn't know or care what the law actually is. He only knows that he's been ordered to find probable cause to search and then arrest Draco. The best excuse he could come up with is that Draco didn't want to show ID initially, and then wanted to show ID only when the officer called for backup, which he claims is suspicious. The cops would not have been able to use this poorly concocted excuse had Draco stuck to the prepared responses that we keep reiterating, and said at the outset, "I will show ID only under threat of arrest. Are you going to arrest me if I don't show my ID?" and then remained silent. Remember, if Draco did in fact have a gun on him at that very moment like the cops allege, then the only reason the cops could have known that, and that he was in an Uber, was if they had been using a Stingray or Hailstorm to monitor him. All Draco had to do, for example, was send a text or tell someone over the phone that he had a gun to protect himself, but that they didn't need to worry about him getting pulled over with it because he was taking an Uber.
Let's not do this in front of the kids.
So what? Why are y'all pulling me? What did I do for y'all to put me? Y'all pulling over an Uber driver, bro. What is going on?
But we need them to go with the program.
What is the...
Just get out of the car and we'll handle this.
Bro, what are you talking about?
Just stay right there. Just give us a second. Just give us a second, all right? Boss, let's make it easy. It's not a big deal.
Bro, what the fuck are you... This is crazy, bro.
Let's do this the right way.
What are we doing, bro? Why? What is going on, though? Exactly, bro. Why are y'all pulling me over?
To the driver,
He said that he put him over for tint windows. This is an Uber driver, bro. This has nothing to do. What is he talking about? Exactly.
We'll explain everything.
This shit is crazy, bro.
It's easy, man.
This shit is crazy, bro.
Let's just make this real easy. You got a bunch of cops coming over here for nothing. So just get out of the car and we'll deal with it.
What are we dealing with, bro?
Draco is understandably upset because it's clear to him that somehow, some way he has been set up. What people don't know is that because police have Stingrays and Hailstorms, they don't need to set you up per se. They just need to listen to your calls and read your texts unconstitutionally until they find a piece of information that makes it easy for them to offer an alternative explanation for why they arrested you in the first place. The police have nothing to go on and no plausible alternative explanation for this arrest, so getting Draco riled up at the absurdity of the situation is part of their plan. They can then spin his behavior as suspicious or threatening to justify the arrest in their police reports. That's why it's always best to say nothing.
Little man, I'm gonna take your kid out of the car, okay?
What is going on, bro? Look. What is...
Hey, grab him first. We're gonna get the Uber driver out first. Hey, go ahead and grab the kid.
What the fuck is going on right now, bro?
Yeah, everybody come.
What is going on?
He's in the seatbelt, sir.
What the fuck is going on right now?
Come on, baby.
Hey, I don't know your name. What's your name? Huh? What's your name, sir?
My name, bro.
What's your name?
Daryl.
No, I don't, bro, but I don't understand why y'all doing this.
Daryl, just go with the program. That's it.
Like in the offset stop, the cop is lying here when he says he doesn't know who Draco is and asks his name. The cop knows exactly who Draco is and knows his criminal record, which he will attempt to use to justify the body search he performs preceding the arrest.
I'm on live, bro. I'm on live, bro. I don't have nothing on me, bro. I'm on live, bro. What are y'all doing, bro?
Don't fight us, dude.
Bro, what are you talking about, bro?
Don't fight us. Don't fight us, man.
Bro. What are y'all doing, bro? What are y'all doing? I'm on live, bro. Hold up, bro. Hold up. What are y'all doing, bro? What are y'all, bro? What are y'all doing, bro? What are y'all doing, bro? Bro!
Like I said, in the end, Drakeo was arrested and charged with being a felon in possession of a firearm, and then later released on $35,000 bail. Very few details have been released, and surely Drakeo's attorney was able to see this sloppily executed unlawful arrest for what it was: harassment at the hands of a resentful and vengeful DA's office that had just failed to lock him away for life.
In the upcoming videos in this series, we'll analyze other situations in which it's extremely likely that the feds or the police used a Stingray or Hailstorm machine to manufacture the arrest of a famous rapper. One of the few effective ways to protect yourself from this type of unlawful surveillance is to place your phone in a Faraday cage or Faraday bag anytime you are driving or traveling. UAP sells a Faraday bag called the 4 Cage on Amazon, which is one of the cheapest options out there. If you or someone you know is the victim of police misconduct, please visit the National Civil Rights Attorney database on unlawalarrestprevention.org. We have worked hard to vet the best civil rights attorneys in each state and update the list as we continue to do so. Simply click on your state and you will see a list of some of the more competent civil rights attorneys in your state. We hope this helps Black people who bring police misconduct lawsuits to be more successful and win larger settlements or payouts.
The worst thing you can do for your lawsuit is hire an incompetent lawyer. And most incompetent lawyers prey on Black people who have been victimized by taking their money and doing little or no work. We hope that this will be a helpful resource to our viewers and that they will share this list with any Black person who may need representation. Thank you for tuning in to another unlawful arrest prevention video. When the track boys sent them to me, they ain't had no guidance. Living day to day straight surviving. Little petty scams and robberies, I got them organized. Before I trained them up, they ain't know what they had inside. They were scraggly jack boys, now they move like FOI. Teach them different type of skills and sharpen up they